The silver coin, a twisted tale of wisdom. In a kingdom nestled deep within fog-covered valleys, a clever and revered minister served at the royal court. His wisdom was unparalleled, and his counsel was sought by the king for every important decision. The courtiers respected him, but at the same time, their jealousy brewed. They longed for the king's attention, yet none could match the minister's insight. But despite his wisdom, the king grew restless and kept one thing to himself, a secret that weighed heavily on his mind. One day, as the minister entered the grand hall, the king turned to him and said, "You, my minister, are a man of great wisdom, yet I must say, your son, he is a fool." The words stung the minister deeply. With a calm but troubled demeanor, he asked, "Your Majesty, why do you say such a thing? Why do you call my son a fool?" The king, leaning on his ornate golden throne, sighed, "Every time I walk amongst the people, I stop by your son, and I ask him this simple question: which is more valuable, gold or silver? And without fail, he always answers that silver is more valuable than gold. Tell me, minister, what kind of fool answers this question so wrongly?" The court erupted into laughter. Some sneered, while others exchanged knowing glances, convinced that the minister's family lacked the wisdom he so easily displayed. The minister felt his cheeks flush with embarrassment, yet he held his silence. Without uttering a word, he left the court, deep in thought. That evening, he returned home, his mind heavy with the king's words. He turned to his son and asked, "My dear son, tell me which is more valuable, gold or silver?" The son, eager to give a quick answer, replied, "Gold, father." "Shocked," the minister said, "then why do you always tell the king that silver is more valuable when he asks you every morning?" The boy lowered his head, and after a brief pause, he led his father to his room. Inside, he opened an old, dust-covered chest that stood in the corner. The chest creaked, and when it finally opened, the minister was taken aback. His son had collected hundreds of silver coins. The minister's eyes widened in confusion as he asked, "Where did all this silver come from, my son?" The boy smiled slyly and began to explain, "Father, every morning, when the king meets the people, he asks me the same question. He places the coins before me, one gold and one silver, and tells me to pick the one I believe is the most valuable. I pick the silver coin, and he laughs heartily, praising my wisdom, and then walks away, leaving me with a silver coin each time." The son continued, If I chose the gold coin, the king would stop asking me the question, and I would use the daily silver coin. He enjoys seeing me say that silver is more valuable, and he laughs at my foolishness, but he never realizes that the joke is on him. Father, I collect these silver coins daily without fail. The moment I pick the gold coin, that source of wealth will be gone." The minister, realizing his son's cunning, was silent for a long while. He had been ridiculed, but what seemed like folly to the court was, in fact, wisdom being measured. His son had mastered the art of subtly playing with the king's vanity. In a world where most seek power and prestige, the son had found a far greater prize, the daily gain, all while appearing foolish to those around him. But that evening, something shifted inside the minister. As he reflected on his son's actions, a sense of pride swelled within him. For, in truth, the king, his courtiers, and even he himself had been outwitted by the very boy they considered to be foolish. From that day forward, whenever anyone mocked the boy for his foolishness, the minister would smile wisely, as if he understood the deeper layers of the world, layers that others could not yet fathom, and he would say nothing. Moral of the story: sometimes, those who appear foolish may possess the deepest wisdom of all. The world tends to call crazy those who challenge conventional thinking. But just as the boy chose his daily silver coins over an immediate prize of gold, some things in life are better when we look beyond the obvious to see the long-term rewards. People may laugh now, but they won't understand until it's too late. Twisted Lesson 1. Isaac Newton. When Isaac Newton first proposed his laws of motion and universal gravitation, the world mocked him. They thought he was crazy, imagining invisible forces acting over vast distances. Yet, today, these laws are the bedrock of modern physics, shaping everything from satellite navigation to the very way we walk on Earth. Twisted Lesson 2. Albert Einstein. Einstein's theory of relativity was met with intense skepticism. People couldn't grasp how time and space could bend based on an observer's perspective. But today, his work is crucial in understanding everything from black holes to GPS technology. Twisted Lesson 3. Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs was founding Apple, people thought he was delusional. His vision of a world with personal computers was met with rejection from investors. Today, Apple is a global giant, changing how we communicate and work. Twisted Lesson 4. Jack Ma. Jack Ma was rejected countless times before founding Alibaba. No one believed in his vision for e-commerce in China. Yet, today, he stands at the helm of one of the world's largest tech companies. Twisted Lesson 5. J.K. Rowling. Before she published the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling was an unemployed single mother. Her manuscript was rejected by dozens of publishers. Today, she's one of the world's wealthiest and most celebrated authors, and Harry Potter is a global phenomenon. Remember, if you know what you're doing is right, don't be swayed by the laughter or doubts of the crowd. The greatest minds in history were often laughed at, dismissed, and misunderstood, and yet their vision changed the world. If you love this story and its twisted lessons, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Remember, stay patient, trust your path, and always look beyond the immediate to find what truly matters.